Welcome back to Cornubia Sports Complex as Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia present to you the QBL Game of the Week, featuring the Logan Thunder hosting the Mackay Meteors in men's action. We just had a great game between the women's teams. This game is going to be another great matchup. Mackay running away at the top of the table, undefeated at 9-0, while Logan trying to get back on track. They're only 2-5. They're sitting closer to the bottom of the table than they are at the top. But Dan, don't let the records fool you. This is going to be a tremendous matchup between two high-quality teams.
It sure is, and I'm looking forward to it for sure. And I mean, Mackay, you're right, have an amazing record, but really tested last night against the Gold Coast, who probably showed one of their best performances of the year with Tori Craig. From what Cam Trigal was saying pre-game, Tori Craig just went bananas and looked like an NBA player, which has obviously been in the media lately about his desire to go over there and do that. But I mean, Mackay back up after that win last night and come up against a Logan team who look at the ladder probably, and from Coach Rucker all the way down to the end of the roster, think that they don't belong where they sit at the moment. And what better way to prove that to themselves and everyone else in the league than coming out with a win at home against the league leaders. So looking forward to a really competitive match and seeing what these two teams bring to the floor.
Dan, we talked about it. Mackay, you could pick about 3 guys on their team at the moment who could legitimately make a case to be the QBL MVP. If you're Logan, what do you have to do to spring the upset tonight?
Well, I mean, Lucas Walker is an impressive player just physically, and you expect him to put up numbers, and just based purely on athletic talent, he's going to do well. But then you look at the statching of bloody hell, he's shooting 41% from the 3 on the season, which is something which I probably wouldn't have expected. So all credit to him for bringing that part of his game. And if he's hitting the 3 ball at 40%, I mean, anyone playing against Mackay's in trouble. But, I mean, for me, looking at the Logan roster, they got Tommy Amar, Mitch Young. I think they'll be all right, with the exception being, what does Coach Rucker do with Sean Bruce? Because I think that point guard spot all year for Logan's caused trouble, from Jay Washington to Izzy Tueta to every other point guard that they've come up against, has really had their way with the Logan defense. And Sean Bruce is arguably the MVP of the league, getting everyone else open shots and putting up numbers himself. And they're going to run a lot of high on balls for him. I mean, how's Logan going to guard him? That's what I want to see. So for me, the key to the game is cutting off the head of the snake, which is Sean Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce is the reigning QBL player of the week. He had the triple-double in the huge win over the Spartans last week. Comes into tonight averaging 22.4 points a game, just under 6 rebounds a game, and he leads the league at 9.5 assists per game. So, you know, when you talk about statistics, those are MVP numbers there. But then you talk about the player coach, Cam Trigal. We didn't even mention him. For me, Logan, they need to do a better job getting Mitch Young involved in the offense. Not necessarily getting him shots, but everything should run through him. Last week in the loss to Southwest, he fouled out with 14 points and 8 rebounds. But when he was on the floor, he was tremendous. They lost 89-82 in that Carly Adams Foundation Charity Shield matchup versus Southwest. It's going to be a great game tonight. Quick predictions for me, Dan.
Well, gee, it's a tough one. I'm going to sit on the fence completely, but it's hard to tip against an undefeated team. So I'm going to tip Sean Bruce and Lucas Walker to lead the way for Mackay to get a close win against a very, very competitive Logan team.
Yeah, Luke Harvey gets the start over Cam Trigal, and he loses the tip to Keanu Post. So we're underway here. Mackay starts Matt Gange in the backcourt with Bruce, Walker, Harvey, and Cedar. Bit of a zone from Mackay. They're going to pack it in and dare him to beat him from the outside. Nick Cedar skips it. Bijan Johnson's 3 is off. And then Walker grabs the rebound.
I think they were in a man there, John, and you see Lucas Walker and Mitch Young matched up. And, I mean, with Post and Harvey guarding each other, at least on Mackay's defensive end, that Walker-Young matchup's going to be one to watch.
Cedar, Chris that time, nails the 3. Great skip pass. And Cedar stepped right into it.
I'm really glad that Tommy Amar went to Lucas Walker on the defensive end. I think that's a matchup that Tommy's capable of making at least life hard for Lucas Walker. So let's watch that one as the game moves on as well.
Tommy Amar in the corner. He misses his jumper. Chris Cedar gets the defensive rebound. Chris going to step into another 3 that's short. Good rebound there by Keanu Post.
I mean, Logan are going to get out and run like every team wants to these days, but I would really hope as well that they look at, you know, Mitch Young, they look at Keanu Post, and if you don't have an open look, slow it down and get those guys touches and make Mackay play defense for 15 or 16 seconds. Get Lucas Walker in foul trouble maybe. Will go a long way to helping them get over the top tonight.
There's Walker with the alley-oop pass. He caught and finished.
Logan are lost on defense. 2 possessions in a row. The Cedar 3 from the corner, and then that layup is there. Mitch Young's got his hands out, not knowing what's happened. They're breaking down which is not a good look in the first couple of minutes of the game.
There's Young, good handoff for Post to finish, and that's what I'm talking about. Getting him a touch. He can pass the ball. He's a great passer for a big guy.
Yeah, he's got to be the focus, absolutely.
Chris Cedar guarded by Bijan Johnson. Now Walker has it against Tommy Amar. Looking to go right at Tommy Amar. He loses the ball. Johnson comes down with it. Johnson looking for the screen and goes inside to Post. Post looking to square up on Harvey. Loses the ball.
That's a matchup that Post has to win. Watch out for the highlight.
One hand alley-oop finish there by Lucas Walker. Great dish by Bruce.
But I don't know which way it works. Is Lucas Walker getting the numbers because Sean Bruce is setting him up, or is Sean Bruce getting his numbers because you've got someone like Lucas Walker finishing? It's probably a bit of both, but gee, that's good to watch when you're sitting here at a QBL game and you've got that level of athlete finishing at the rim like that.
Not easy to do, is it, Dan? Post loses it. Cedar comes up with it for Mackay, kicks ahead to Walker. Walker loses it, but throws it out of bounds off of Johnson.
I mean, before that highlight, I was about to say Keanu Post has to win his matchup with with Luke Harvey down there. I mean, if you're going to go big and put Young at the 4, I think they really need to make sure that they get their money's worth out of Keanu Post. And
Gange open for 3. He drains it. Gange is deadly from deep on the season. He's hitting 50% of his three-point shots. He hit the first one tonight.
It's interesting, too. I had a quick chat to Cam pregame, as I know you did too, Johnny. And I mean, Coach Trigar spoke about Gange and his ability to recognize who needs touches, as Mitch Young shows his range as well.
Three-pointer.
Gange can hit that shot, but he knows where to get the ball to Cedar, where to get the ball to Lucas Walker, and obviously to Cam when he's in the game as well. So a high IQ, which is going to help Mackay as they move forward here.
Harvey blocked at the rim by Amar, but they're going to say Tommy Amar got him with the body. So Luke Harvey going to go to the line for a couple. Good creativity there, though, by Walker. You see the defense collapsing on him. Nice little dump off to the big man. And then we talked about it when we had Mackay a couple weeks ago. We watched Lucas Walker in the C Bowl last year, and he just seemed to be almost disinterested in the game that we saw him play. And he's really locked in. So I've watched a few of the games on Huddle. He just has it all going on. He's comfortably back in the NBL. He's not playing for a contract again. He was re-signed with Perth. And he just seems to really be fully locked in and loaded.
Well, isn't it amazing what a different system or a bit of confidence can do for a player? Because you're right, he probably struggled at Dandenong, but they had Dequan Montreal, who was a 4-man. Lucas Walker was playing the 3. I think they had another, I forget his name, Chuck Long was another perimeter player. There's just not much space for him to work. System might not have suited him. He gets a bit disheartened maybe. He doesn't know where he's going to get a job in the NBL, but he knows he's going back to Perth. He's playing in a system that Coach Trigar's put in place that suits him, and we're seeing what he can do, and he's just been nothing but impressive all season long.
Another big-to-big pass on the other end. Young to Post again leads to a bucket, so it's a 4-point lead here for Mackay over Logan. Deep 3 for Cedars off the back of the rim. Walker with the offensive rebound, but he loses it. Michael Cedar comes up with it. Skip pass into the corner. Bijan Johnson steps out of bounds. Coach Trigar checking himself in. And it looks like Rasmussen also going to check in for Gange and Harvey. And it was interesting when I did talk to Cam before the game. He loves to just, he's going to play everyone. He knows that everyone knows they're going to play tonight. He thinks, I asked him, what is the success you have in the second half? And he thinks that they're just in great condition and that they're just wearing teams down. They're taking everyone's best punches, but can they do it for 4 quarters? No one has been able to do it so far this season.
Yeah, well, even Cam himself looks a bit more conditioned than we saw a couple weeks ago at Southwest as well. Looks like he's in great shape, and he's putting up numbers like he always does, even in limited minutes. So
there's another alley-oop. Walker misses the dunk, though. It's tipped around out of bounds. Keanu Post loses it. That's a great look there by Chris Cedar.
A great look, absolutely. Almost an amazing finish, but
Nelson Collar going to check in for Keanu Post. Collar had a great game versus Southwest last week. I think he had 5 blocks in the first half, finished with 6.
Well, great test for a young player coming in. I know he's got plans of heading away and playing overseas and things, and to come in with Lucas Walker, Cam Trigar, this Mackay team, great test for him, and hopefully he can give Coach Rucker some quality minutes here.
Here comes Bruce off the screen, stepping into the wing 3. That's short. Logan going to let it roll out of bounds. That's quite interesting to see Coach Trigar start himself on the bench. But I think he wanted to match the 3 guards of Logan, the 3-guard attack.
And he might just want to focus on his coaching as well a little bit. I think one of the challenges he'll have is, as a player, just playing and getting the minutes that he knows he can get as a player in any team in this league. Obviously, would love to have him, but he's there to coach as well, and maybe starting on the bench gives him the ability to.
What a reverse
incredible finish. Incredible finish from Sean Bruce, but maybe starting on the bench just gives him a better feel as the coach, and he can sub himself in and still get his 25 minutes, 30 minutes a game, but maybe just gives him a better look to see from a coaching point of view how the game's starting out.
Yeah, just an incredible finish there by Bruce. He put the Jets on, got past Johnson, did the reverse layup with the left hand, got the finish and the foul. And he completes the 3-point play. I mean, you look, like I said before, you look at his numbers on the season. 22.4 points a game, 5.9 rebounds, 9.5 assists. He's shooting 53% from the field at the point guard spot.
Yeah, it's impressive. And
Amar, corner 3 is good from Tommy Amar. Mick Cedar, that's his 2nd or 3rd assist already so far in the first quarter. Chris Cedar on the other end finishes off a nice look from Sean Bruce.
I think when Sean Bruce gets his head of steam up like that, Logan's in trouble. He's scoring himself. He's finding open players for layups and dunks. I think they've got to try and slow him down a bit further up the court than they have so far.
Amar loses it. Bruce kicks it up ahead to Rasmussen. He finishes the layup as well. Capitalizing on some Logan turnovers, and Coach Rucker going to take a timeout, so we'll take one as well. There's about 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. It's a 6-point lead for Mackay over Logan in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Cornubia Sports Complex. It's a 6-point lead for Mackay over Logan, 18-12 with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Taking a look at some statistics for you. Thing that jumps out right away for me, Dan. 7 Mackay field goals, 6 assists on them. Sharing the pill around, everything's leading to a bucket. And they're also capitalizing on some Logan turnovers. Logan's got 4 turnovers, and Mackay's got 7 points off of them already.
Yeah, it's telling, and I mean, looking at this matchup at the moment, I would love to see the ball in Mitch Young's hands with Rasmussen and just force Mackay, to double team. When you said in the pregame yourself, John, they got to find ways to get Young touches. He might not shoot it every time he gets it, but he's at least got to get a touch. And if Rasmussen plays him 1-on-0, I think Logan liked that matchup. And if they force him to double team, which they probably will have to, maybe Sam Johns, Tommy Cedar, these guys can all get open looks. So hopefully Coach Rucker can find a way to keep Mitch Young engaged with a high volume of touches on each possession.
Walker has it. He's guarded by Sam Johns. Dumps it off and loses it. Collar comes up with it. So good defense there by Johns. Leads to the turnover. Johnson, bullet pass to Johns, wasn't ready for it. There's the touch inside for Young. Goes right at Rasmussen. Flips it up and in, plus the foul.
I don't know if there was much of a foul in that, but from Logan's point of view, foul or no foul, they get a bucket. And I think Mitch Young's going to get that all night long with that matchup. And if Mackay double team, like we said a minute ago, everyone else is going to be open. The defense will have to collapse in. So I mean, it works both ways. Coach Rucker and the team have to make sure he gets touches, but Mitch Young has to continue to demand the ball and present himself as well.
And he does it. He did a good job. Waited. He looked to see if the double was there, and recognized it wasn't coming, and went right at the defense. He's got 5 points here early, 2 assists as well. Excuse me, 7 points. Make it 8. 18-15 the lead for Mackay here with 3 to go. Walker gets around Johns and puts it down with one hand again. No help defense, and Walker rocks the rim.
I remember years and years ago, Andre Lamanis, when he was with the Breakers, said if you get beat middle, expect no help. If you get beat baseline, there'll be help there for you. And I think Sam Johns found out pretty quickly that if you get beat middle with Lucas Walker holding the ball, there'll be no help. And Lucas Walker made him pay.
Mitch Gamblin checks in for Chris Cedar. Johns turned it over on the other end for Logan.
And I think they're just going to give Lucas Walker a steady diet of the ball at the high post and just let him work.
Steps out and fires the top of the key 3. It's too strong. Trigard tips it, but Young comes down with it. And this is where Bruce does a great job. This is where he made his name, is on the defensive end. Salicic has it now. He's just checked in for Logan. Looking inside for Collar. It's not there. Young's going to take a deep 2. That's good. Young doing a bit of everything so far, keeping Logan in it. They're down 3. Bruce off the Trigard screen. Good look inside. Trigard flips it in.
It's a funny, it's a funny, my voice is failing, by the way, viewers. I apologize.
You're going through puberty again.
It sounds like it, but it's a fun, I'll explain what I was doing last night, maybe in a minute when we get a break, but as Mitch Young shoots the 3 and makes it again. But for Mackay, they set a funny on ball, and that most of the time, the big will come out and set on the left or the right side, but Mackay kind of set the on ball for Sean Bruce with the bigs back to the basket, which means he can pick whichever way he goes, and he's just running downhill at the defense, and good luck guarding Sean Bruce when he gets that sort of opportunity.
Yeah, Bruce doing a good job running the show. Walker has yet to find his jump shot. Young kicks it out to Cedar. Cedar looking to work against Bruce. Double teamed, finds Young again. Salicic gets in the paint, skips it to Young. They got 5 on the shot clock, 4. Cedar has it. Gonna have to get something off. Gets it to Young, who flips it up. It's missed. Collar's tip is missed as well, but it goes out of bounds off Mackay. So we've got under a minute to go here, 22-20. Lucas Blykev's gonna check in for Mackay, give Lucas Walker a breather. And Keanu Post gonna check in and give Mitch Young a bit of a breather as well, as does Carroll for Mick Cedar. Carroll coming off the screen, fires the 3. It's too strong. Tipped around. Coming down with it is Cam Trigard. It's a tough matchup for Sean Carroll. Looking to stay in front of Bruce. Bruce, fadeaway jumper is an air ball.
It is a tough matchup, but I think Sean Carroll's well equipped as anybody to guard Sean Bruce. You can't stop him, but I think Sean's been around long enough and is smart enough just to be able to slow him down as well as anyone else on Logan's roster could. And I like Sean Carroll for Logan offensively too. He can just run off fans, get them good looks, get the ball to the right guy. So nice. This is a good lineup for Logan.
Nice bucket there from Johns. Ties it at 22. Mackay's going to hold for the final shot of the quarter. And then Salicic picks up the foul call, trying to pressure Bruce. Coach Rucker getting fired up. Could hear him from our vantage point. 6 to go. Bruce gets the screen from Rasmussen. Stop and pop from Sean Bruce is off. Post comes down with the rebound, and we're going to head into the quarter-time break. Not at that 22. Dan, quick thoughts on the first quarter action.
Well, quality basketball like we expected, but I think Mackay looked really good. So do Logan. There's good things both ways, but I mean, Mitch Young with 13 points just carrying Logan offensively at the moment. So either he'll continue that and he'll get touches, or he'll open up for everyone else. And for their sake, hopefully the Amars and the Sam Johns can contribute tonight. But I mean, Mackay, on the other hand, really even spread. Lucas Walker's been impressive. Sean Bruce, Cedar, they've all looked really good. So, as predicted, a great start to a really competitive, quality matchup.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back with some statistics and the second quarter action here on the QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Cornubia Sports Complex. It's all tied at 22 between Mackay Meteors and Logan Thunder. Taking a quick look at some of the statistics, Dan, at the quarter-time break. Logan shot the ball 56% from the field. It did turn it over, though, 5 times, which led directly to 7 points off of turnovers for Mackay. Any other numbers jump out at you there, Dan?
Oh, not really, John. It's all pretty even, as you would expect in a tied game after the first 10 minutes. But I just think as this game goes on, we often see a team maybe hang for a quarter or two, and then usually the class separates them. But hopefully that doesn't happen tonight for Logan's sake. I just think if they can continue to play the structured offense we've seen so far and keep turnovers low and control the backboard, they'll be right there all night long. And Cam Chagard doing what he does best, putting the ball in the hoop.
He does get buckets. That's a great spin move on the baseline and a tough finish on the reverse. John's going to fire from 3. That's too strong.
Well, Johns is a key player for Logan in that he plays a vital role, and if he does not play well, they're going to struggle to compete with the top teams in the league, in my opinion, just because they're going to have to get offense from somewhere else. And Cedar and Mitch Young and these guys are great. But the Amars and the Sam Johns, they're going to have to produce. And I mean, Coach Rucker can drop all the offenses in the world, but Sam Johns has got to be able to knock those shots down, and hopefully for Logan's sake he can do that tonight.
And Bruce on the other end got fouled, so he's going to go to the line for a couple of free throw shots.
While he's shooting foul shots, I'll just explain very quickly. The Icon Cancer Foundation is this fantastic charity which I've been asked to be an ambassador for, having been a previous patient of Icon. And we had our first event for the year last night, and it's just a great event with Bill McDonald emceeing from Channel 7 News and a lot of other people, fairly well-known people in the room. And I gave a little talk about my cancer experience and probably spoke with about 90 people, and I wake up this morning with no voice at all, so I apologize. I'm doing my best Doc Rivers impersonation tonight. Very grainy and scratchy voice, but hopefully we can get through tonight's game without too many further high notes coming in.
That's all right, Dan. It's all for a good cause, which is a great thing, and we appreciate you toughening it out and hitting the court for us tonight. Trigar likes to match up with post, uses a few pump fakes. Going to take the jump shot, and it rolls off the rim. There's post on the other end. Looking to go right at Trigar. Spins baseline, misses the left-handed hook shot. Collar comes down with it. Salicic going to fire the 3. That's good from Christian Salicic. He's really struggled from deep. If he could find his stroke, because he's a good shooter. If he could get hot,
yeah, he's got to find his stroke, absolutely. We've been interested to talk to Coach Ruck and get his thoughts on minutes, whether he's got an idea in mind of how many minutes he wants different guys to play, whether he has coaches through field and subs through field. But we'll see how long he keeps Mitch Young off the floor. On fire in the first quarter. And
Collar with the tip, he's fouled, so he's going to go to line for a couple shots.
I think Logan go to Brisbane tomorrow, don't they, John?
Tomorrow, yeah.
I believe so. Maybe he's trying to control minutes. Maybe, I don't know, but be interesting to see how he manages his roster this evening.
Oh, it's tough to not only back up, but we can't say anything because Mackay did the triple header earlier. When you play on the Saturday night and then have to play on the Sunday morning again, it's always tough. I mean,
sure
you're playing pretty much like 12 hours later.
Yeah, especially Brisbane have had a few of those games this year where they get teams on a Sunday fresh, whereas the other team walks in off a second or third game. And they play such a high-tempo style of basketball, Brisbane, and they're so well-conditioned and very fit that it's hard to keep up when you play Saturday and back up 12 hours later on a Sunday against the Brisbane Capitals.
Cedar hit that nice floater on the other end, gives Logan the lead, 27-26. Wykevs finds Rasmussen, baseline jumper is good.
Nice touch from Rasmussen, really nice.
He's been doing that for a long time also. Salicic hands off for Collar. He got himself stuck a bit too deep under the hoop on that one. And Bruce again bumped, and he'll go to line for a couple shots. That one's called on Mick Cedar. That's going to be Cedar's first personal, the second team foul on Logan. And Bruce again going to go to the free throw line. He's a perfect 3 of 3 so far tonight. And Luke Harvey going to check in for Cam Trigar. Collar going to take a breather, and Bijan Johnson going to check in. So sub in a guard for a big. It's pretty much a 4-guard lineup with Kanu Post on the floor for Logan.
Well, it sure is, and you would expect that means, obviously 4-out offense, but plenty of space, lots of ball movement. Post has room to work inside. We'll see what they come up with.
Bruce went 1 of 2. Mackay's taking a 2-point lead here. Cedar going past Gamblin, kicks it out. Goldfinch pump fake. Now back out to Cedar, top of the key 3. That's good from Mick Cedar. Logan retakes the lead. Harvey sets the screen. Bruce picks up his dribble. Looks inside for Harvey, who's double teamed. Nice pass to Rasmussen.
Just the composure of Sean Bruce is so impressive as well. It's one thing to see him come off an on-ball and attack and get to the rim and throw alley-oops, but when he loses his dribble, and most players rush and panic in that situation, he just maintains composure, finds Harvey, they get a layup.
And I like on the other end, isolating Post, let him go to work. If they're going to guard him one-on-one, let him do his thing.
Well, if you're going to bring a big American in as an import and you get single coverage, he has to go to work, and good to see him be aggressive there and reward himself with 2 foul shots.
Yeah, so he'll go to line on the season. He's shooting at 65% from the free throw line. As Young does check back in. I thought he did, yeah. Is he out there? I swore I saw him checking in. He's getting set to check in for Post, it looks like. Post missed them both. (31-30) the lead for Mackay. About 6:40 to go in the first half. Teardrop from Bruce is off. Wykevs hit the floor hard. Got bumped on his way up. Then they called
Well, I missed it. Whatever happened, I missed it.
I think it was just that the call got upgraded to unsportsmanlike. So obviously after the way the player went down onto the baseline, trail referees come in and overruled with an unsportsmanlike foul.
I don't know. I think Cedar came in and did something. Number 10 got called for unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, Chris Cedar got called for that. Didn't see really what happened.
It was a very subtle push, whatever did happen, but obviously he came in to stand up for his teammate, so you can't be too critical, I guess, but
it's a quick whistle.
It sure was, and that's not a bad thing. Hopefully it takes away any niggle and means that all the players know not to mess around, and an unsportsmanlike call that quickly means the cheap shots won't come into it later on, hopefully, whereas if you let that sort of stuff slide, I don't know, there's a potential for it to get a bit out of control later on, but I don't know what happens here. Does Logan get the ball back? Does Mackay get, I don't know, obviously Logan
Looks like Logan on the unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, considering both fouls were of different grades, so you have a normal foul and unsportsmanlike foul. The penalty for unsportsmanlike foul is 2 shots and ball from halfway, so that kind of overrules what's actually happened.
And it's a big play, really. I mean, Cedar doesn't look too upset. I'm not sure what happened, but I mean, it was a Mackay ball out of bounds, offensive rebound. Black Calves got fouled, but I mean, they lose the possession, give up 2 foul shots and a possession here. So if this is a 1 or 2 point game later on, we'll remember this moment.
Young gets his own rebound and puts it in with the left hand. But Lucas Walker streaking down the court, lays it up and in between 3 Logan defenders.
So I think he should only get 1 point for that, John. I mean, he's got to go up and just punch it and grab the ring and hang on it. Pretty hard to do with 3 defenders, but I just love watching his highlights, and the more highlights I see from him, the better.
Young shoots an air ball. Bruce kicks it ahead, but it's tipped out of bounds off of Logan. So Mackay will maintain possession. Cedar getting set to inbound for Mackay. Finds Bruce, thought about a 3, instead gives it to Cedar in the corner. He'll fire the 3, that's off. Tipped out of bounds though by Chris Cedar, so Logan has it. We're all knotted at 33, we're just under 6 minutes to go in this first half. Corner 3 from Goldfinch is off. Chris Cedar gets it. Gange back in for Mackay, as is Harvey. Bruce lays it in. That's a good boxing clear out from Luke Harvey. He got position, wanted the ball, instead opened the lane up for Bruce. Bit of contact, Cedar goes inside, and Young gets called for 3 seconds. Tommy Amar going to check back in for Goldfinch.
I mean, you can't argue with the 3-second call. He was in there for plenty of time, but I think he was saying, fellas, I've been open the whole time I've been in here, and had his man on his back, Mitch Young, and Logan have got to recognize that and get him the rock.
Johnson guarding Cedar. Cedar goes away from the screen, leaves his feet, kicks it out for Bruce. There's 8 on the shot clock, and then Salicic steals the Bruce pass. Alley-oop pass, Young tries to finish, he's fouled, and he's going to go to the line for a couple shots. Young on the night has hit 1 free throw so far, the only one he's attempted.
Oh, he's been really impressive, and he's shown all the different skills, hasn't he? He's gone to the post and got to the rim and hit a 3 or 2, passed out of the post and found open teammates. He's been really impressive, as he always is, but I mean, equally, he's got 1 rebound in the minutes he's been on the court, so the more he can hit the glass and try and control Mackay's second opportunities, the better for Logan too, but offensively, geez, he's been really good.
Yeah, he's the only player for Logan in double figures. In fact, he's the only player in double figures in the game. Young hits the first one, and that's exactly what you want to see from Mitch Young if you're working towards the when he's getting back for the Bullets. Wants to become more of an offensive threat. Wants to be able to make people pay. If they foul him, he hits 2 of 2. He's 3 of 3 so far tonight from the free throw line. And we're not at 35. Gange, miscommunication with Walker. Cedar can't save it though. Goes out of bounds. Post going to get set to check back in. He's going to check in for Salicic. So here's that big lineup from Logan.
Well, Coach Rucker's giving him all different looks, isn't he? He goes small with a post and 4 guards, and he comes back with, Keanu Post and Mitch Young, which is obviously a really big lineup. So he's just making it difficult for Mackay to get any kind of rhythm on defense and really mixing it up. And Tommy Amar's a pretty big 3 too, so certainly got a big lineup out there at the moment.
Johnson trying to find Young rolling to the basket. There's the double team, finds Post for the 2-handed jab. And that's what I keep saying, let him create a bit. He's a smart player. He's got good passing skills. And the big to big, he's done a great job getting post involved in the offense.
Yeah, he sure does. And we saw against Ipswich, I think the last time we had Logan online, the last time I was here anyway to see Logan, Gano post got 3 or 4 dunks, off, a lot of them off Mitch Young feeds. So, I mean, Mitch Young at that high post is a great passer, and we see him hit the offensive glass there as well.
Yeah, Mar misses. Mackay going to take a timeout as they're now down 4, 39-35. Guys, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more QBL basketball presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Timeout taken there by Mackay. Good timeout, Dan. What do you think?
Really good timeout. Logan is starting to look really good, and when anytime you're on the road, you don't want the crowd to get energy, or Logan in this case, obviously being in Logan, to get some energy from the crowd and get on a roll. So as soon as you get that momentum, just call a quick timeout and hopefully take some of that away from Logan, who played really well the last few minutes, and they come out with some pressure here to just mix it up again. And I think Logan's done a great job of just making it difficult for Mackay to get any type of rhythm at all so far tonight. Different defenses, different offensive lineups. Coach Rucker's junked it up really, really well.
Mackay's down 4. Cedar has it.
He's traveling all over the place, by the way.
Bruce has to fire a deep 3. That's off. Trigar and post fighting for it. It goes out of bounds off a post. So Mackay will get 14 seconds on the shot clock. Inbounds to Walker. He loses it. Bijan Johnson comes up with it for Logan. Goes right at the rim and lays it in. And then Cedar steals the inbounds. Here's Young setting the screen for Johnson. Johnson's going to fire the 3. It's good from Bijan Johnson. And the lead up to 9 now for Logan.
Well, that's what Logan's been missing every time we've seen him play all year. Just that consistent effort and that consistent threat from the point guard spot. And Bijan Johnson's shown tonight on the last 2 possessions, playing great D, get a layup, come off an on-ball, hit a 3. That's what Logan did not have at the start of the season.
Bruce is fouled again going to the rim, so he's going to go to line again for 2 shots. That one's going to go again on Bijan Johnson. It's going to be his 3rd personal, 4th team foul on Logan. Bruce is making a living tonight here at the free throw line. This is going to be his 6th and 7th attempts already so far in the first half. It's the first. And hits the second. Bruce now into Gange, steps back, kicks it to Trigar. Now Cedar has it, puts it on the deck, leaves his feet. Walker gonna fire a 3, that's too strong. Tipped up and in though by Sean Bruce. Carroll with a nice crossover. He's fouled on the floor by Sean Bruce. Brad Rasmussen going to check in. Matt Gaines going to get a breather. It's Bruce's first. Mackay, though, that's their fifth. So Carroll's going to go to the line for a couple of free throw attempts. You ever play against Sean Carroll?
A lot of times. Yep, sure did. He was a Knox Raiders legend back when I was with Hobart and Geelong in the Seaboard down south. So we had a lot of games over a number of years against each other. Sure did, yeah.
What's that? What is that? He's just been a hard-nosed point guard for his entire career, hasn't he?
Essentially, I mean, he's doing all the things that we talk about here with Logan. He did back then in terms of great defender, really capable shooter, but knew exactly who to get the ball to. So he played with Lester Strong, who was a really good five, big American import, who I matched up on when we played, and he played with CJ Massingale at the same time, who's fairly well known currently with the Sunshine Coast Phoenix, but was, I mean, one of the top players in the last 30 years of Seawall competition, just a legend down south. And Sean knew exactly how to get those guys looks, and he's showing all those skills tonight and all season long.
With the follow and the foul. Another timeout going to be taken here by Mackay. They're down double figures, 50-39. Timeout on the floor. We'll take one as well. A minute to go in the first half. And Logan up 11 on Mackay, 50-39 in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. All right, back with you here at the Cornubia Sports Complex. It's Logan up 11, 50-39 with 1:07 to go in the first half. And Keanu Post at the line for a free throw attempt to complete a three-point play. Dan, pretty impressive first half here for Logan.
Absolutely impressive. And I mean, Mackay would say that 50 points and a half is probably too much to give up to anybody. But I mean, Logan have been classy and impressive right from the jump. So give them all the credit. I don't think it's Mackay playing poor. I think it's just Logan playing really, really well.
Post hit the free throw, so it's now a 12-point lead for Logan. They've got Amar, John, Cedar, Young, and Post on the floor. Mackay answers with Cedar, who fires a deep three that's off. Amar comes down with it. Mick Cedar has it now for Logan. Young putting it on the floor, kicks it out. Amar's open, top of the key, three is off. That would have been a big bucket.
Yeah, and you'd back Tommy to make that shot more times than not, so that would have been a big one as Mackay answered with a, I thought that was goaltending, but.
Chagar missed the bunny, which doesn't happen too often. Logan goes back inside, Post goes right at the defense. He finishes and the foul. Rasmussen picks up the foul. Keanu Post, he's had a great first half as well. He's got 11 now for Logan, and he'll have an opportunity again for a three-point play.
Well, he's had a really great second quarter. He had a couple of buckets off Mitch Young feeds in the first quarter, but I just felt, at least from our position, he didn't really have a huge impact on the game, but you cannot say that in the second quarter. He's been great. Defensively and offensively, he's made his mark as well.
And it does seem as though they're really focusing on getting Post some touches inside as well as running through Mitch Young. And he hits the free throw, so Lead is now 15 for Logan with 20 seconds to go, and a good substitution here for Coach Rucker. Get in, post out. Don't need him to pick up any fouls. He hasn't picked up any yet so far in the first half, and he has run into foul trouble a few times so far this season. But Mackay will hold for the final shot of the half, down 15. Throws up the alley-oop. Walker is bumped by Johns. That's going to be the 15th foul. Walker just pretty much leapt into Johns, and they're going to call Johns for the foul. That's going to put Logan in the penalty, and Walker is going to go to the line for a couple shots. Mitch Young getting a workout in. He's showing his many talents. Not only can he play hoops, but he can dry wet spots on the floor as well. Walker's at the line for a couple. That first one is good. Second one is up. That's good as well. So Coach Rucker going to take a timeout. Let's keep it here, though, Dan. 6 seconds to go. Team up 13. 6 seconds to go into the halftime break. Who are you running it for here?
Well, whoever they run it for, you want to make sure that clock expires as they shoot it, because you don't want to give Mackay 2 or 3 seconds to go the other way and get a prayer and cut this lead down heading into the break. So let's make sure Logan get the last shot if I'm Coach Rucker at the moment. But I don't know. There's a lot of options, but I would think Mitch Young or Cedar are the 2 players that need to get this shot. If somehow Mackay cheat and hedge onto either of those, then you've got a Tommy Maher or Sam Johnson who are more than capable, but I'll be trying to get a look for Mitch Young, first of all, considering he's been on fire so far in this first half. Either him or Cedar would be the priorities for me coming out of this timeout.
Yeah, Young is 8 of 12 from the field, 6 of 9 from 2, 2 of 3 from 3, and 4 of 5 from the free throw line. Top scoring in the game so far is Mitch Young with those 22. Post having a good game too. He's 5 of 6 from the field, 12 points on 5 of 6 shooting and 2 of 4 from the free throw line. He's also got 6 rebounds.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's in the game coming out of this timeout, so he won't be the option, but there's still more than capable scorers out there for Logan. We've got to go the length of the floor here.
Well, John's going to inbound. You got Goldfinch, John, Cedar, Young, and Amar on the court. John's inbounds to Cedar. He's got it at half court. Takes a few dribbles, loses the ball though. Johns has to throw up a wild one. It's on target, just a bit to the left of the rim. So heading into the halftime break, it's a 13-point lead for Logan, 54-41. Dan, your quick thoughts on the first half of action. What does Mackay need to do at the halftime break? What adjustments do they need to make to get back into it?
Well, geez, Logan's been super impressive to me. They've looked great. I don't know if I'm Mackay, I might just want to slow the game down a little bit and make this more of a half-court grind. See if Logan can guard Trigger in the post, see if they can guard Lucas Walker at the elbow, see if they can slow it down and get Sean Bruce off a couple of reversals and run him through some on-balls. And just make Logan play defense, because at the moment, 54 points and a half is way too much for any team to give up, but especially a team coming off a doubleheader like Mackay are tonight.
And Logan, they did have that great first half. What was it that stood out that helped them get to this 13-point lead, and what do they need to continue doing to get the W?
Well, I've been really impressed with their structure, meaning they just seem to know what they're running and who they're running it for. And I mean, every player's stepped into the game with confidence. Tommy Maher shoots the ball with confidence, make or miss it. Sean Carroll comes in and knows who he's getting looks for. And obviously Mitch Young and Kano Post, to a lesser extent, have both been incredibly impressive and just had an enormous presence inside on the glass and in the post, which makes Mackay have to play a lot of defense, and they've made them pay so far.
All right, well, let's see what happens in the second half. It is the halftime break. We'll come back in about 10 minutes with some statistics and the second half of action on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Cornubia Sports Complex. About 2.5 minutes to go before the start of the second half. It's a 54-41 lead for Logan at the break. Dan, really great first half for Logan. Let's take a look at some of the halftime statistics and what really jumped out at you at the break.
Well, I think the obvious thing is Mitch Young, 8 of 12 from the field and just doing an amazing job. 22 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, and just creating opportunities for all his teammates as well. So he's been super impressive so far as well. But I think for Logan to be up 13 over the undefeated team in the league, and Michael Cedar's only taken 3 shots, they've got to be pretty happy with that. So, I mean, if he comes alive in the second half, then Logan are going to be pretty hard to stop, I would think. They're +5 as a team on the rebound count. Only 7 turnovers, just up and down the whole stat sheet. They've been impressive. I think from Mackay's point of view, they've struggled a little bit, especially shooting the ball from deep, 2 of 10 from downtown. So you'd expect that to pick up maybe in the second half. And I mean, Lucas Walker, Sean Bruce, they've all been solid. The thing that stands out to me a little bit, and Coach Trigar's Coach Trigar, but he's also, MVP of the league, Trigar. I think there might be a juggling act between him wanting to coach and play, but I mean, he's 2 of 8. I'd almost throw the reins over to the assistant coach, Wade, and just let him go to work and establish him as an offensive threat down low and just let him go and ball out, because I think his team might need him just to go and carry the load offensively, given what the inside players from Logan are bringing so far tonight. So we'll see what comes in the second half, but I'd love to see Trigger play, 15 minutes here and get himself plenty of touches and see what happens.
To me, the statistic that jumps out is you see turnover-wise, both teams at 7. So there was a couple points in the play that it was a bit sloppy, but both teams tightened it up, and Logan was able to control the ball and put the ball in the basket. They did a good job defensively on Mackay, forcing them to stay at the perimeter. Mackay struggled to get inside a little bit, and I think you're right that maybe they need to look inside, maybe get the ball to Walker on the post, or maybe Trigar at the block.
Yeah, and I think the comment before we went to the break as well about let's just slow it down and, make Logan play defense off 2 or 3 reversals for 14 or 15 seconds, get some on balls with Sean Bruce, let him attack, let Trigger pick and roll, or whatever they do, just to make Logan play a bit longer defensive sets, and maybe that takes away some of the offense that we've seen out of the Thunder, because they've looked really, really good.
Yeah, and they've done it in a great first half of action. Also for Logan, I got to give credit where credit's due. Cannon Post had a great first half.
He has,
Didn't pick up any fouls, so he was able to stay on the floor and make an impact. He's got 12 points and 6 rebounds. He's 5 of 6 from the field. And again, they look to be looking for him, and they want him to contribute. And they need him to contribute if they want to be a contender in this competition.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and we see what he does offensively, and he's 5 or 6 and all those things, but he changes a lot of shots as well, and it's amazing how it works as the psyche of a player when you're getting good looks on the offensive end, how much energy you have to go and play D. So the more involved they can keep him, the better.
All right, well, the second half is underway. Let's see if Logan can continue their hot first half, as there's an alley-oop, and there's a lot of contact. They're going to give that one to Lucas Walker as he met Young in the air. Young wants the shooting. They're going to say it's at the baseline, though. Walker hates the call, doesn't he?
Well, he's just jumping up to catch the ball, and he was in front of Mitch Young, so you can't disagree with his displeasure at the call. But good set from Logan coming out of the break, too, and good to see Mitch Young staying aggressive.
It went right at Walker. Couldn't finish with the left hand. So Mackay gets a stop on the first offensive possession. Let's see if they can cut into this lead now. Cedar wants to clear out. He's driving baseline, fading away. That's a tough shot. Tipped around. Harvey comes down with it. He goes flying. They're going to say jump ball. Possession arrow favors Mackay. I think it looked worse than what it was, hey?
Oh, there was nothing in that, no.
Our resident referee, Regan, what did you think?
Yeah, nothing wrong with the call at all. Both players had a hold of the ball. If someone's just got a little bit more strength and happens to throw the other player to the ground while holding on to the ball, completely clean.
There's Bruce. He misses. Then there's a foul underneath the basket. That one's going to go on Tommy Amar, trying to box out on Chris Cedar. That's Amar's second personal. So both teams with 1 team foul so far, about 45 seconds into the third quarter. Cedar driving baseline, picks up his dribble, kicks it out to Bruce. Bruce throws up another floater. That's a tough finish there from Sean Bruce.
Super tough finish. And Kano Post is a big man, and when he was fully extended out, and Sean Bruce just with the giant killer just over the top of him. Great finish.
Cedar going right at Bruce, gets a lane. He's fouled on his way to the rim. That one's going to go on Bruce, so McCedar's going to go line for a couple shots. Referees seem to be calling it a little tighter to start here in the second half. Cedar hit the first. As McCedar's first free throw attempt of the night. He's now at 6 points in total. Make it 7. 13-point the lead here for Logan over Mackay. And an offensive foul called there on Luke Harvey. He was trying to set a screen on McCedar to free up Sean Bruce. And he gets called for the moving screen. That's Harvey's third personal. Cedar puts it up high. Walker steals it though. Good read there by Lucas Walker.
Oh, great read, and there's not too many players in the league that would be able to pick that pass off, but Lucas Walker's one of them.
Cedar going to the rim. He's fouled as well. Foul's called on Mitch Young. That's going to be Young's first personal. Cedar drained them both, so it's back to 11 now. Hasn't been much flow because the referee's blown the whistle a few times here. Neither team really, at the moment, able to get in sync. Lamar has it now over to Johnson with 3 on the shot clock. He's got to fire a deep 2. That's off. Excuse me, deep 3. Bruce goes coast to coast and lays it in. Cuts the lead to single digits now. It's a 9-point lead. And then an offensive foul called on Keanu Post, battling inside with Luke Harvey.
Well, I didn't see that, so I can't really comment on the call. But I mean, the officials are seemingly making a point to really keep this game clean, which might be a little bit frustrating to the guys on the court, but hopefully it means that, you know, they just keep their hands off and the game opens up and we can see these guys go to room and go to operate, with plenty of room to go and do their thing. And a few more highlights. I'd love to see Lucas Walker or Mitch Young come down the paint again and finish with authority. It's awesome to see.
It'd be great. Got to give a shout out to our guy Big Joe tuning in live down in Adelaide. Actually, I'm sure we saw Coach Joey Wright up here live in person as Harvey finishes the reverse layup. Coach Joey Wright, the Adelaide 36ers head coach, up here checking out some QBL action. And Big Joe, thanks again for tuning in and for supporting Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Cedar, top of the key jumper, rolls in and out. Walker comes down with it. A little too casual there, nearly turned it over. Now Chris Cedar puts it on the deck. He's swatted by Collar. Harvey comes down with it, and he's fouled, though, by Nelson Collar again. It's a good block, but good tenacity there from Luke Harvey.
And you can just see Mackay just slowly chipping away as well, and I mean, getting the ball to the rim, getting to the foul line, just slowly closing this lead. And we haven't seen Trigger in the second half yet. He's probably a minute or so away, I would guess, from coming in for Luke Harvey. He's done a really good job here to open the third quarter, but I mean, we're set for a great finish here, fellas.
Harvey hit them both. Lead's cut to 5 now. John Johnson working on Gage. Kicks it out, Collar. Back out to Johnson. Wing three is good. John Johnson hits it. Cedar on the other end. That's a wedgie. My guys from the starters, they'd love to see that one. So what happens on that, though, when there's a wedgie?
It just goes to jump ball. So nice and simple.
So if Mackay had the possession arrow, it'd stay with them.
Yeah, correct. So regardless of who took the shot or how it got wedged or anything like that, it just goes straight to the jump ball arrow, and whether it's a turnover or remains with the same team, doesn't matter. It's how the cookie crumbles nowadays.
All right, well, the lead is back up to 9. It's 8, 59-51. Johnson has his pocket picked. Cedar hands it, kicks it out to Bruce. He can't hit the long two. Cedar, Mick Cedar, comes down with it for Logan. Too many Cedars on the floor. Can we just get Mick on at once and Chris on when Mick's not on? They've been matched up defensively too, which has been great to see. Young backing in, hands it off for Collar. Collar through traffic. And again, good recognition there by Mitch Young, leading his fellow big man to the bucket.
Well, they just look so good when Mitch Young get touches, don't they? If he's single coverage, he's getting good looks, and if he's doubled, he's doing a great job of finding his open teammate, which is oftentimes the other big. And he's got a matchup here. They got to look in. He would have found him eventually if he wasn't fouled, I'm sure. Sean Bruce, the only defender back, and Mitch Young salivating, I think, at the thought of getting a bucket over his Bullets teammate.
Yeah. Bruce is a good defender. I don't know if he's going to handle Mitch Young in the post, though.
He would have fouled him, surely. He's not letting him get a poster, that's for sure.
As you say, Trigar checked in for Luke Harvey. Harvey gave him some good minutes there.
It's an interesting period of the game, isn't it, John? We've got a 10-point lead to Logan. He's been playing really, really well as Mitch Young misses his first three of the night. But, I mean, Mackay just stacked with talent. You know they know a way to get W's out of any situation, and they're just going to stay with it and grind it out here. So we'll see what happens over the next few minutes to close this quarter out. But Logan so far are looking pretty good, aren't they?
Logan looks really good. Mackay missed the gimme on the other end with Walker. Johnson leaves his feet, finds Collar. That foul is going to go on Lucas Walker.
I think that's the biggest adjustment for some of these guys who play and then be able to come back down to the QBL, and then it's just officiated a little bit differently. But it's been consistent. They've called that same kind of touch foul all night long, but that's the second time Lucas Walker has been called for a foul and doesn't really know why.
A bit of contact, definitely, but that's going to put Mackay in the penalty, and Johnson going to go to line for a couple shots. John Johnson is 1 of 2 from the free throw line tonight. Make it 2 of 3. That one's good as well from Johnson. So lead back up to 12. So Logan did a good job weathering the Mackay storm and responding.
Absolutely, I sure did.
Cedar for 3, it's good. Mackay has struggled so far from beyond the arc. That's only their 3rd three-pointer of the night. John's in the corner, his 3 is up. It's a bit too strong. Chris Cedar comes down with it. He skips ahead to Bruce. Bruce loses the ball. Goes out of bounds, though. They're going to say that Johns stepped on the line when he touched the ball. So it's going to stay with Mackay.
So it's a great job from Sean Bruce to save that possession. Just to your comment a minute ago, they've struggled from deep, only hit 3. You feel like it's just a matter of time, isn't it? With Bruce and Walker at 40% on the season and Cedar, you're going to start hitting from the deep pretty soon, you would expect.
Walker nearly traveled, got the pass off in time to Cedar, whose jump shot's off. Young with a big defensive rebound there. Here comes Bajan Johnson. He's got speed for days. Makes Cedar deep 3 is too strong. Trigar tips it to Bruce. Now Trigar has on the block, looking to go to work on Collar. They're going to get Nelson Collar for the foul on Cam Trigar.
Geez, Nelson Carlo's not complaining, so it's obviously a foul. You'd expect him to be a bit upset if it wasn't, but when you force Cam Trigar into a, 3 dribbles away from the hoop fadeaway, just get a hand up and make that a contested shot. He played him pretty well, but when I think the more touches Cam can get down there, the better for Mackay. It's only a 9-point game, could be 7 after these foul shots, but I just reckon a steady diet of post-ups from him to close this quarter's probably a bit what the doctor ordered for the Meteors tonight.
Yeah, well, Walker started off pretty hot, but he's quieted down, as has Bruce. Bruce has 16 points on the night, only 5 of 13 from the field. While Walker has only attempted 9 shots so far, and hit 4 of them for 10. Logan doing a good job, though, forcing someone else to beat them. They've done
Absolutely.
a pretty good job defensively.
Yeah, they have been really good.
I'll go back to what Coach Trigar said to me before at the half of the women's game. He said, can teams stay with them for all 4 quarters as Johns hits a deep 3? And that's going to be the true test. Can Logan put together 4 complete quarters to get the win? Bruce off the screen, flips it up. He misses. They're going to get that foul there on Mitch Young. Going to send Bruce to the free throw line. So even though Bruce is struggling from the field at 5 of 13, it's going to be his 8th and 9th free throw attempts of the night.
Well, he's just got a really high IQ and a really smart player, and he knows how to manufacture buckets, and whether it's for him or for his teammates, he just does a great job. And I reckon that's why if you're handing out awards right now, we'd be pretty close to MVP of the league. You'd think the way he controls the show for Mackay, and looking at their record, it's no surprise that they're where they are with players like him in charge. But it'll be good to see the last 13 minutes of the game, what he does. How does he get Cam involved? How does he get Lucas Walker going again, who has been quiet since that first quarter where he looked really good? What are they going to do to get themselves going here? Because, they need to. They're down on the road, 8 points with a couple of foul shots to come. They need to do something here in a hurry, or else they're looking at their first loss of the season.
Trigar got called for the foul on that one. Again, Young finding Collar inside. So Collar going to go to the free throw line for a couple shots. And I know I asked you this when we had Mackay the last time because it was their 3rd game of a triple header. But what about playing back-to-backs? Definitely not the easiest, is it?
No, it's not the easiest, but I don't think it's much of an issue. They played at the Gold Coast last night and then drove half an hour to Logan. I'm sure they're staying somewhere in between, but Cam Trigar, Lucas Walker, Sean Bruce, this is what these guys do for a living. So if they weren't playing tonight, they'd be working out somewhere anyway. So, I don't think the second night, 2 games in 2 days, is any type of a challenge for these guys.
Gage thought about the 3, got it back out to Trigar. Now inside, Walker flips it up, it's off. Tipped out, and Bruce recovers it for Mackay. Looks inside for Trigar, who's swatted but fouled before he got the shot off. And Logan in the penalty, so Trigar is going to go to the free throw line for a couple shots.
It'd be good to get Joey Wright's thoughts on Nelson Carlo, wouldn't it? Just to see what he thinks of this young kid. I think he's just come back from college and certainly loves to contest a shot, doesn't he? Loves to block a shot and be an inside presence defensively. Good to know what Joey sees of him and if there's a role for him at a higher level here in Australia, maybe.
Well, I think he certainly has the ambition to play in the NBL. From what we understand, he's going to be going over to Europe after the QBL season. It's always a bit tough, the NBL, if they can add some teams, there might be some more roster spots, but there's only a limited amount of developmental spots. Quite a few guys are carrying over from last year, from what I know. Walker loses it out of bounds. That was an easy defensive rebound. He's disappointed in himself, so he gives Logan another offensive possession. Cedars fadeaway jump shot rolls in and out.
Hey.
But Walker got the net, so that's going to be an offensive interference call. Basket's going to count.
Well, it was obviously going to bounce out as well, so that's a big win for Logan on that possession because that ball was not going in, but it was the right call. Lucas touches the net, and that counts.
2:30 to go here in the 3rd, 10-point game. Logan still in the lead over Mackay. on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Trigar can't get the hook shot to fall. They're getting them the touches. They haven't been shooting at a great clip tonight, Mackay, have they?
Well, no, they haven't, but I think Cam's like something ridiculous, 60% on the field on the season. So if he's going to go down to your first loss and he shoots, 4 of 15 or something like that, then I guess you just live with that if you're Mackay, because that won't happen very often during the season.
Bruce inside to Walker. That was all Sean Bruce there, just pushing the pace and creating something out of nothing. Logan, good ball movement. Cedar goes inside to Young. They're going to say a 3-second call. Not sure if they got that on Young or Collar. They were both in the area. Keanu Post going to give Mitch Young a breather. I was just about to say, Logan starting to go away from that look inside to Mitch Young. They're settling for a few three-pointers. They're getting away from what's been working for him so far.
Well, I think that same rule applies now that Keanu Post is in the game too. Just want to keep those big guys involved, because so far tonight, good stuff's been happening when he gets looks, or at least touches.
John's in the corner for 3. That's off. Knocked around. Post comes down with it, though, for Logan. Referees blew the whistle. They just want to get a floor wipe as Walker hit the deck. Carroll and Goldfinch getting it set to check in for Logan. Cedar and Collar going to get a breather. So Logan's got a lineup of Salicic, Johns, Post, Goldfinch, and Carroll. Mackay is going to answer with Gange, Bruce, Walker, Trigar, and Gamblin.
Lucas Walker is doing an incredible job of buying himself some minutes here, almost like a timeout, just to catch his breath, as the floor wiper, who's incredibly cute and wonderful young player, comes out on the court, but not a very good floor wiper, and that he's a little bit intimidated, I think. So Lucas Walker takes a towel and buys himself a 3-minute timeout. Pretty clever.
John's bullying his way to the bucket, but he's fouled on his way there. That's going to go on Lucas Walker. That's his 3rd personal foul. Nice aggressive take there by Sam Johns. Johns has been better tonight, too, from what we've seen previously so far this season.
Well, he has been. The short answer is that I agree completely, but he's and that's because he's given Logan next to nothing on the season, at least the games that we've seen. And like, you want to keep it positive, and I hope that doesn't sound too harsh, but he's 31% from the 3 on the season from deep, and hasn't given him a whole lot. But tonight he's been a lot better, and it's no surprise that when he's better, the team looks a lot better. So hopefully for his sake, he can finish the season strong, and the Logan Thunder can get into the playoffs and give himself a chance to compete.
We're under a minute now in the 3rd. It's a 9-point lead for Logan. They're going to get Sam Johns on the foul. Walker not happy. He wanted the ball on the block. That's John's 4th personal. Tom Amar going to take his place on the court. It's 2 shots for Lucas Walker as Logan in the penalty. Walker missed the first. Second one rattles in for Walker. He's got 13 on the night. The lead is 8, though, for Logan. About 40 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Goldfinch in the corner. His 3 is way off. Bruce comes down with it. See if they go for 2 for 1 here. They're going to work the clock a bit. Walker's pass tipped. He tries to squeeze it through to Chagara, who catches and finishes with a reverse layup.
I think overall that's a pretty ugly possession, but I mean, just the skill of Lucas Walker at the end to create something, and a great look and then a great finish from Chagara as well. But when I was thinking, the more aggressive Lucas Walker can be in the post, the better it is for Mackay. He just needs to go to work down there and just back himself as the best player on the floor. That's the mentality I think he's got to have, and I mean, he showed right there the skill that he's got. So we'll see what he does coming to the fourth quarter here, but just a highly talented player, and I've been really impressed just with his smarts as well, which has probably been the knock on him in the past. But I mean, all throughout this QBL season, he's shown he's a really smart player and knows exactly what he's doing out there. So it's good to see him go to work up close and personal like we're seeing tonight.
Carroll splits the D, kicks it out. Amar from the wing for three is good. Big bucket there. Can Bruce get a shot off? He flips it up. They're going to say no. It hit the front of the rim. Tommy Amar with the three-pointer sends Logan into the break, up 9, 74-65, guys. That's the end of the third quarter. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with final quarter action in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Cornubia Sports Complex. It's the third quarter time break, heading into the final run here with Logan up 9, 74-65. Dan, this is almost the carbon copy of Mackay's game last night. They were down 1 heading into the fourth quarter. They outscored Gold Coast 25-10 to get the win. Do you think they have it in them for the second night in a row?
Does Mackay have a comeback in them?
Yes.
Well, the answer is absolutely yes, they do, looking at the quality of players they've got. But I think the difference is, for the Gold Coast, they've got Torrey Craig and then, you know, a bunch of guys that, in fairness, are probably not quite as good as Logan's supporting cast as well. So Logan have got a Mitch Young, who's probably their stud like Torrey was for the Coast last night. But Gauno Post, Tommy Amar, Carroll Cedar, Selicic, Sam Johns. It's a quality team, and from what we've seen so far tonight, I would be surprised if Logan fall over. Mackay's going to have to go win this game. Logan aren't going to give it away.
Hey, Logan's been great all night. Let's see if they've got another 10 minutes in them to hand Mackay their first loss of the season. Cam Tragar gets called for the offensive foul. Stuck the hip out there a little bit. Referees didn't like it, and they picked him up for it. Coach Rucker staying with a bit of his bench here as well. He's got Carroll, Amar, Post, Mick Cedar, and Christian Selicic. Great catch by Post, and he finishes with 2 hands. Walker looking to go at Amar in the block. Spins around him and lays it in with the left hand. Tommy didn't do a bad job there. That's just tough for Walker.
Oh, it's good defense, and it's just really, really good offense. So, I mean, you got to live with that. That's a tough shot, too, from Mick Cedar.
Yeah, Cedar turning, spinning, fading away, and draining. Bruce, step back jumper, that's good. John Bruce looking to get himself going. The lead is still 9 here for Logan. Can't trade buckets though, you gotta get some stops if you're Mackay.
Well, you got to get stops while Mitch Young's off the floor as well, getting rest.
Cedar's three is off. Gamblin has it. Looking at Walker. Walker has it now at the post extended. Backing in on Tom Amar. He's going to shoot the fadeaway, and it goes down.
And awesome to see Lucas Walker so aggressive. Well, they got to get stops definitely, but offense, they look great running it through him in the block. And Tommy Mar's a really good defender. That's not a knock on him at all, but Lucas Walker's going to work as Sean Carroll does the same down the ring. You're right, Johnny, they can't keep trading buckets, can they? They've got to try and get stops with you, Mackay, but that's what we said a second ago too. Logan's going to make them really, really work for this if they are going to get a win. Logan looked great.
Gamblin in the corner. His three-point attempt is too strong. Carroll comes down with it. Cedar skip pass to Amar. Nice catch and save. Carroll's three is up. Too strong. Crowd getting into this one. It's great to hear. It's a great atmosphere here in Logan. They can smell blood as Gaines travels to turn it over. So Cedar checks in, as does Harvey for Trigar and Gamblin. John Johnson checks in, as does Mitch Young in post. And Carroll take a breather. Good start, good minutes there in the fourth from Carroll in post.
Great minutes, absolutely.
Young gets it over to Cedar. Cedar gonna stop and pop. That's in and out. And then Young picks up a cheap one going over the back of Luke Harvey. That's gonna be Young's third personal. Good smart minutes though from Coach Rucker, getting Young a breather. Not letting him pick up his third until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think Rucker's coached really, really well tonight too. Give Mackay plenty of looks. They've run really good sets. Logan have looked really efficient offensively. He's done a great job.
Gaines gets the screen. He's fading away. It's off. Young comes down with the board for Logan. There's Young on the block. We're going to go one-on-one with Harvey. Good footwork there from Young. Gets the bucket and the foul. Nice move there from the big man, Mitch Young. Back up to 11 now, 82-71 with 6:20 to go. How good has Mitch Young been tonight?
Been amazingly good.
Hit the free throw as well. He's 4 of 4 from the line for the night. He's got 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Bruce, pull-up jumper, that's good.
And that's where Mackay looks so good too. They set that high on ball. They almost have the big with the back to the bucket like we said earlier, so Sean Bruce picks which side he wants to come off, and when he gets going like that, get into the paint, and he's tough to stop.
Skip pass, great ball movement here, leads to a Cedar three-pointer that's off. Good rebound from Luke Harvey. 10-point lead for Logan. 5:40 to go in the game. Bruce again gets the screen from Harvey. Mick Cedar going to get called for the pushing foul. That's always a tough one. If someone sets a pick and you're trying to defend, I don't understand why it's a foul when you run into someone setting a pick. Reagan, our resident referee, give us the explanation, please.
It's kind of a limit as to what contact is reasonable and what isn't. I mean, if the pick is set correctly and legally, the player should have enough time to turn around, see that there's a body standing there, and avoid. In a situation like that, that was very, very heavy contact, which should have been avoidable. And I 100% agree with the call. There was too much contact on a pick that was set very legally.
Okay. Happy with that, Dan? Or should we give our resident referee an earful, just like these, like we were playing the game?
Oh, are you suggesting that one of us would give the referee an earful?
Well, I've heard some things about you in your day.
I was very nice with the
I don't think
referees.
I ever copped anything from you, Dan. In all the years that I've repped you, I don't think I've ever heard a word out of you.
I'm very kind to the officials. Ragdolling opponents a different story, but I agree. I agree with the explanation. There's a lot of contact, and you can't let that go of no call. And I think on that, the officials have been really consistent tonight in making sure that the players know to keep hands off, and those small touch fouls have been called all night long. So if you're going to set the tone that way, and then someone runs through a pick, you can't let it go.
Coach Sugar is going to take a timeout as Luke Harvey just picked up his 5th personal foul. So we'll take a break as well. We come back. Bijan Johnson will be at the free throw line for 2 shots with his team up 10, 83-73. The lead for Logan over Mackay here on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. All right, back with you here at Cornubia Sports Complex. 10-point lead for Logan, 83-73 with 5:13 to go in the game. Bijan Johnson going to go to the free throw line for 2 shots. Coach Sugar trying to get his troops over the line here. They're down 10 with 5 minutes to go, Dan. It's going to be a good finish.
Well, the good thing about Luke Harvey fouling out is that it forces Trigar back into the game, so I think that helps Mackay potentially, though he's got 4 fouls as well, so if he picks up a 5th, they're in trouble. But what I'm looking forward to it, you've got an undefeated team, loaded with talent, second night of a doubleheader, having been tested and pushed last night, pretty tough. I mean, what have they got? Let's see what they can come up with the last 5 minutes of the game.
Logan's going to back up tomorrow. They're going to go up to Auchenflower to take on their rivals, the Capitals, as Cedar puts up a corner 3 that hits the side of the backboard.
That was a good set play too. You could see what they were doing out of the timeout. So they got the shot they wanted, but just couldn't quite make the shot.
Kick ball there on Cedar. You hear Coach Rucker calling the play. Wants his young guard Johnson to get it going. Young has loved this matchup against Lucas Walker. Creates some space, left-handed hook shots off though. Walker comes down with it and kicks ahead to Bruce. Bruce goes right at the defense and lays it in. That is why he's a professional in the NBL right there. Great body control, great speed, absorbs the contact and can still finish.
Yep, super impressive.
Johnson skips it across the Salicic, inside to Young for the hook shot.
Lucas Walker's got his hands full, doesn't he? Mitch Young likes that matchup. You can see him going right at him. 2 good athletes going at it. It's good viewing.
Whitecaps for 3 is off. Johnson chases it down. He's off and running now. Bullet pass. Young couldn't catch it. He recovers, though.
He double
flips it up. Collar tips it in, though. Referees didn't call it. There was a bit of controversy. It's now 14 points. And the clock is definitely not in Mackay's favor now. We're at 3:30 to go in the game. Bruce inside for Walker, who's fouled.
Lucas Walker will be upset with himself on that too. That's an N1 3-point play all day, but give Nelson Carla credit, giving enough disruption on the shot attempt. But I reckon if they had that played 9 times again, Lucas Walker would be going to the line for 1.
I thought he was lining up for the old tomahawk there.
I thought he was going to as well, but again, give Nelson credit. He did enough to get in the way, but I mean, they easily could have been a posted dunk on someone else.
So Walker hit the first. His team's down 13 now with 3:31 left in the game. Misses the second. Johnson gets the tip, and he is fouled by Sean Bruce. It's going to be Bruce's 3rd personal, the 4th team foul on Mackay. Johnson's pass inside is tipped. Chris Cedar tries to come up with it. Salicic has it with 6 on the shot clock. No look past the collar, who puts it down with 2 hands, but they're gonna say he traveled. That was huge.
You know what, that's worth a travel for a dunk like that. That was impressive.
That was a great dunk. Great ball movement there. A nice pass from Walker to Trigar. Cuts the lead to 11 with under 3 now. Johnson pull-up jumper, rolls in and out. Walker comes down with it. Chris Cedar looking to hit the 3. It's too strong. Walker offensive rebound and puts it in. And the lead is back down to 9. Coach Rucker going to take a timeout. We'll take one as well. 2:20 to go in the game. Logan up 9 over Mackay on your QBL Game of the Week. Presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at Cornubia Sports Complex. It's a 9-point lead for Logan over Mackay with 2:26 to go. Coach Rucker took a timeout. Didn't like what he saw out there on the floor. What do you think he's telling his troops there in that timeout, Dan? Guys, we're 2 minutes 26 away from our biggest win. What's he saying to get him there?
Well, they played 38 minutes of super high-quality basketball, so I mean, I would assume that he's just reinforcing whatever he drew up pregame and what their goals were, because they've executed whatever he wanted to the highest level tonight. So whether that was controlling turnovers, whether it was getting Mitch Young touches, whatever it was, he was sort of reinforced those points. And as we see, Sam Johns knocked out another big 3-point shot.
That's a huge one, increasing the lead to 12.
Yeah, and Mackay need a couple of quick buckets here or else they're looking at their first loss.
Chris Cedar puts it on the deck. Floater is good. That's a good answer there from Chris Cedar. Cuts the lead to 10, though. Under 2 to go. Surprised we haven't seen any pressure yet from Mackay?
A little bit. I think with 2 or 3 minutes left and a double-figure lead or a double-figure deficit, you got to pretend or at least consider to get up and down the floor. And well, they're now going to send Logan to the foul line with every single foul. So I think they're doing to put on some pressure and try and speed this game up a little bit.
Yeah, Bruce got called for the foul there on Mick Cedar. That's the 15th foul for Mackay. So Cedar's going to go to the line for a couple free throw attempts. So far tonight, he's 2 of 2 from the charity stripe. Team up 10, minute 40 to go. Dan, is it over?
It's not over, no, but it's pretty close to being over. I think if Mackay can get a couple of really quick looks, maybe get themselves to the foul line, this next possession or two, they're a chance, but I mean, Logan would have to completely fall over and capitulate from here to give up this lead. So I don't expect it happening. I think Logan are going to get the win, but Mackay still a chance for sure.
Chagar inside. Walker's jump shot is good. Still no pressure here from Mackay. Down 10, a minute 20 now to go in the game. John Johnson, three from top of the key is short. Walker grabs the rebound out of his coach's hands. Bruce gonna pull up for three, that's good. Now it's down to 7 with a minute to go. That's a big bucket. And Coach Rucker gonna take a timeout. Good timeout here for Coach Rucker. Let's keep it here though, Dan. Minute 5 to go. Back-to-back buckets and a couple stops. It's probably not the three-pointer you want from Bijan Johnson on that shot. Then you see Mackay come right down and answer with their own three.
Yeah, well, I think we say it all night long, but this is exactly when they've got to go and feed their horse, and Mitch Young needs a look in the post. And if he gets a bucket, great, but if they double down, he'll find someone. He's proven all night long he can do that. So I think they need to go to the well and get him some touches here. And that three-point shot might not be the answer at this stage of the game, but we'll see what these guys come up with. If Mackay get a stop, another quick bucket, I mean, Logan might tighten right up. Who knows? So big minute of basketball coming up.
I will see, but guys, don't forget, next week we'll be bringing you another game as we do each and every week. It's the Brisbane Spartans hosting the Sunshine Coast Phoenix on Sunday. Women will tip at 1 p.m., followed by the men around 3 p.m. live and on demand, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. So don't forget to tune in next weekend as the Spartans host the Phoenix in QBL basketball action. 94-87 the lead, 1:05 to go. Good time out there from Coach Rucker. You got to expect Mackay to trap or try and force a turnover. The alley-oop pass is tipped, and there is the turnover.
Gee,
Walker comes up with it.
That is a surprising out-of-bounds play from a timeout.
There's Bruce. Gets called for the travel. John's got his hand on the ball, forcing Bruce into the turnover. There's the trap. Cedar gambles. Bijan Johnson comes up with it. Dumps it in for Young, who puts it down with one hand. And he's sealed that one with a kiss. Good timeout, though, there by Mackay. They're down 9, 43 seconds to go, Dan. Mackay looking more and more likely to be picking up their first loss of the QBL season with 43 to go and down 9.
Yeah, I think they are going to pick up their first loss. And it's an interesting road trip, too. We obviously didn't see the game last night, but from all reports, the Gold Coast, who have not been setting the league on fire by any stretch, really pushed them right to the end, or at least for 3 quarters, and they come in tonight and pick up their first loss most likely. So, I mean, the gap that everyone has seen between Mackay and the rest of the league might have closed a little bit this weekend. And from the other hand, Logan, who've probably been, if you talk to most observers of the league, one of the underperformers. We all picked them as, top 4 finishers, and they aren't there at this point in the season. They showed why we all thought they were top 4. They've got an impressive display of basketball tonight and show that they're not a forgotten force at all this season. And this sort of win can really propel a team as well to go on and really get on a roll here. So, I mean, really big weekend in QBL basketball like it is every week, but this has been a great game for a number of reasons. And I mean, Coach Rucker's got to be happy with what he's seen so far for 39 minutes and 15 seconds.
And taking a quick look at some of the scores out of town, the Spartans men are over the Toowoomba Mountaineers 54-50. Don't see a score there for Townsville and Rocky. Gladstone leading Southwest 23-22. So could be a big win here for Logan if they can finish this one off. Bruce goes inside. Tragar flips it up and in. It's good. 7 points the lead. Inbound pass nearly stolen, but they're going to foul Bijan Johnson. Going to send him to the line for a couple shots. Johnson so far tonight is 5 of 6 from the free throw line.
He's given them great energy as well tonight, I think. As Bijan Johnson, he's just brought a little bit of spark that they might not have had to start this season. And I think he's been really impressive for them. Hasn't statistically set the world on fire, but he's just done all the little things that you want him to do. So, I mean, he's helped a lot, and I think the Mitch Youngs and the Tommy Mars and the Johnses will all benefit from having him on the floor.
He missed them both, though. Now Bruce has it. Team down 7. Good in and out dribble from Bruce. A lot of contact. He's going to step around the arc, fire the 3. It's an air ball. Whitecaps recovers. He's going to put up his own 3, but he stepped out of bounds on the line. It's a tough one, too, because he drained it.
And Mackay were adamant that his foot was over the line but not down on the floor, so would have cut it to a 4-point lead, Johnny, but not to be.
Johnson's going to go to the line for a couple shots. Collar going to check in for Johns. And really impressive performance here from Logan. 23 seconds to go, though, Dan. Johnson's got to hit these free throws. Hits the first one. And is this going to be the one that can get the Logan season back on track? 2 wins out of their first, 7 games, or 9 games. What was their record? 2-5 coming in, so probably not what they expected. They have the talent, obviously. About to hand Mackay their first loss of the season. Can this be the spark to get them back on track? To see what we thought would be a contender in the QBL.
Well, it sure can, and I think they've proven to themselves that they've got all the pieces that you need to be competitive. So I think they've got great post play, they've got now good perimeter play, and like we said, Johnson just brings that extra little bit of spark to their roster that they might have been lacking in the first week or two of the season. So they've got all the tools. Coach Rucker, I think, has coached a great game tonight and obviously prepared a really quality game plan and managed his roster really well. So they've got all the pieces there to go on and get going from this. But like every team, the key is consistency, and this win means nothing if they back up next week and don't bring the same quality effort that they've shown tonight.
And what about Mackay? Obviously, it's always difficult to run the gamut and go undefeated. They got this far. Is it just a blip in the road, bump in the road for Mackay?
I think so. I think they'll go back and look at the tape and find places where they could have been much better. And we've spoken about the talent in the QBL and how good the quality of basketball is. So given that, it's pretty rare that a team's going to go undefeated for a season. It's highly unlikely to ever happen, given how good the league is. So, I mean, a loss or 2 or 3 on the season is not a big deal in the great picture of things. So I think Mackay will just move on from this and bounce back really strongly next week. But it's just a nice reminder to them that they've got work to do like every other team does.
Cedar catch. He fires an off-balance 3. He hits it. That's the lead to 7. They're going to still foul here. And again, Johnson going to go to the line for, that's Mick Cedar. So Logan going to back up tomorrow. They're going to have a trip up the motorway to take on their arch rivals, the Brisbane Capitals. That should be a great game as well. Mackay next week. Let's have a look at round 9. Mackay is at home. They play Gladstone on Saturday. Rockhampton's on the bye, so Cedar again for 3. That's off. Rebound to Johnson. He's fouled by Bruce, and that's going to do it. Logan hits triple digits. They're up 100-92. And round 9 for Logan sees them hosting Southwest on the Saturday night. And of course, our game next weekend, presented to you live on Basketball Queensland YouTube channel, will be the Brisbane Spartans hosting the Sunshine Coast Phoenix, with the women at 1 p.m., followed by the men around 3 p.m. Really great doubleheader tonight, though, I thought, Dan. The girls' game was an excellent game, and the boys have put on a great game as well.
Yep, no doubt. Both games have been great basketball. So yet another week of high-quality QBL action. The league continues to impress every week that we see it.
And again, if you are watching, we thank you for tuning in. But if you're local, get out and support your local QBL team as Young puts it down with the dunk. It doesn't count. The final score will be 101-92. The Logan Thunder and the Mackay Meteors, their first loss of the season. Really good performance, Dan. Let's take a look at some of the final statistics. Mitch Young, top scorer in the entire game with 28 points on 11 of 19 shooting. He was 2 of 4 from 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, had 7 rebounds and 4 assists. Just a great overall game from Mitch Young.
Well, you can't say enough about the guy. I mean, we've seen him in the past put together a quarter or two of dominant basketball, but he was dominant every minute he was on the floor tonight, and that doesn't mean he's got to score and rebound every possession, although he did do that most of the time, but he just made the game so much easier for Keanu Post and young Kayla when he subbed in as well, just finding open guys. And when you've got a focus point like that, it just helps everybody else tune in. So, I mean, he was impressive tonight, but so was the whole Logan roster. I thought there was a lot of really good contributors, which led to them obviously picking up a really big win.
Yeah, Bijan Johnson finished with 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Mick Cedar had 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists. And Keanu Post had 14 points and 7 rebounds. Probably his best game that I've seen him play so far in the QBL.
Keanu Post? Well, I thought his game at Ipswich was impressive as well, but tonight, against the quality of opposition that the Mackay front court is, you'd say that was pretty close to being one of his best games for sure.
And taking a look at Mackay, leading the way for them was Sean Bruce, 27 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Lucas Walker finished with 22 points. He had 10 rebounds and 5 assists as well. Chris Cedar, 15 points, 4 rebounds. Cam Trigar had 14 points as well. But what can you say? Logan, it was their night. They started off well. They were able to keep composed when Mackay responded and hit them back. They cut the double-digit lead down to about 5, and Logan answered right back. Really, really sober performance. I was really impressed by Logan tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Great performance, and what a great way to reward the home crowd.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here. So once again, I would like to thank Chris Eber on the camera, Regan Baker on the production panel. I've got to thank James Bowman from Australian Sports Network for all of his amazing graphics work tonight. Dan George in the commentary booth, and myself, John Guarna. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday, 1 and 3 p.m. as the Spartans host the Phoenix on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia.